Where was Axar Patel today? Where was Axar Patel? अक्षर पटेल को क्यों नहीं खिलाते? आपको हमेशा अक्षर पटेल से क्या दिक्कत होती है? बॉलिंग वो करके देता है, फील्डिंग वो करता है, बैटिंग वो करता है। ये वर्ल्ड कप है। दिस इज नॉट सम बायलैटरल सीरीज या फिर सम यू नो ordinary tournament in which you can play with the opposition, smash them for 200. No, this is the World Cup. And India versus South Africa game of Super 8 in the T20 World Cup 2026 अहमदाबाद में उसने ये दिखा दिया कि वर्ल्ड कप में कोई भी गेम आसान नहीं होता है। ऑस्ट्रेलिया जिम्बाब्वे से हार गई, जिम्बाब्वे ने श्रीलंका को हरा दिया। इतना आसान नहीं होता है। आप घर पे खेल रहे हो, आसान लगता है लेकिन आसान नहीं होता है। South Africa have comprehensively defeated India in this Super 8 match and um, outplayed India through and through. The only person in the Indian team who outplayed South Africa today was Jasprit Bumrah, who did what he did, and you have to feel bad for him. He produced one of his best performances for India, and it was not enough. India could not chase 188 in Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, जहां पर चेजिंग यूजुअली आसान होती है, जहां पर ड्यू आता है आपके लिए आसानी होती है, लेकिन इतना आसान नहीं था क्योंकि अभिषेक आउट ऑफ फॉर्म है, क्लियरली आउट ऑफ फॉर्म है। 3 के बाद आज उन्होंने रन तो बनाए लेकिन सिर्फ 15 रन बनाए, एंड उसमें भी एक चौका मारा मेरे ख्याल से, या 2 चौके मारे और एक छक्का मारा था अपर कट में। एंड ईशान किशन जस्ट प्लेड अ रैश शॉट एंड ही गॉट आउट, बट सूर्य कुमार यादव, तिलक वर्मा, it was very senseless batting by the Indian team, I would say. And I'm not furious at them. मैं गुस्सा नहीं हूँ, I'm not going to be someone who will just shout and say क्या किया, नहीं. We need to be calm and composed. This is South Africa. It's a great T20 team, and you could see why they have David Miller in their team. You could see why they have the bowling depth that they have. They have Marco Jansen, and what a brave move by Aiden Markram, the captain. ईशान किशन 2 लेफ्टी थे, दोनों लेफ्टी स्पिन को अच्छा खेलते हैं, पर उन्होंने रिस्क लिया और पहला ओवर कराया, एंड ईशान किशन के अगेंस्ट वो मूव कम ऑफ, इट केम ऑफ. But what are the few things that you took away from this match that I feel will be helpful to India for India to go forward? Because now West Indies और जिम्बाब्वे के साथ मैच बचे हैं. पहली चीज, ये इंडियन टीम चेज करते वक्त स्ट्रगल करती है. मुझे ऐसा लगता है क्योंकि जो इंडियन चेजिंग मेंटालिटी है, आज तक हमने जितने भी चेजेस देखे हैं वर्ल्ड कप में, सारे के सारे चेजेस आर बेस्ड अराउंड एन एंकर. हमने बहुत कम किसी नॉकआउट मैच में ऐसा चेज देखा है T20 वर्ल्ड कप में जिसमें एक इंसान मारता चला गया हो और बाकी लोग भी मारते चले गए. नहीं, इंडियन टीम जब चेस करती है T20 वर्ल्ड कप्स में प्रेशर आता है, स्पेशली नॉकआउट मैचेस. The other thing that I saw, and I had said this in a previous video, I'll add a link to that, is if you go after one of Varun Chakravarty or Jasprit Bumrah, you can beat India. Aj Bumrah bowled like a T20 bowling god, which he is. But apart from Bumrah, Varun Chakravarty went for big runs, and David Miller and Devol Brevis, both of them went after Varun Chakravarty. That goes to show कि अगर आप वरुण चक्रवर्ती को अटैक करें, अगर आप वरुण चक्रवर्ती को सेटल ना होने दें, उसको उनको विकेट ना दें, स्पेशली अर्ली डॉर्स, तो आप इंडियन टीम को हरा सकते हो. क्यों? क्योंकि बड़ा टोटल करने के लिए आपको एक गन बॉलर को तो मारना ही पड़ेगा, स्पेशली जब दूसरी टीम के पास 2 गन बॉलर है. अब बुमराह यॉर्कर कर रहे हैं, बाउंसर कर रहे हैं, स्लो रन कर रहे हैं, बुमराह को आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. लेकिन वरुण को उन्होंने मारा, टारगेट किया, स्पेसिफिकली टारगेट किया, उनको बोला आप स्टंप में करिए, हम आपको सामने मारेंगे, अगर आपने फुल किया तो हम आपको फिर से अटैक करेंगे. एंड दैट रिस्क पेड ऑफ. हैट्स ऑफ टू डेविड मिलर. एंड आई फील अगर डेविड मिलर आउट नहीं होते तो साउथ अफ्रीका 210 220 भी कर सकती थी. सेकेंडली, साउथ अफ्रीका की बॉलिंग डेप्थ, people are not realizing. Look at their bowling depth. Rabada, Nokia is sitting out, by the way, but Lungi Ngiri, Marco Jansen, Keshav Maharaj, Corbin Bosch. That's a very good bowling lineup. And Aiden Markram, who's a trump card, who can just bowl in a few overs to unsettle um, any batting lineup. Secondly, I'm not very convinced with Shivam Dube's bowling, simply because Shivam Dube is a limited bowler in terms of his length and his plans. Today, his plan was very simple: bowl in cutters and bowl in wide outside off stump. And if you remember the free hit delivery that went for six over extra cover. That was wide outside off stump, but David Miller sort of cover drove it over for six. Now, I'm not so convinced how Shivam Dube can be a sixth bowler. I'm really not convinced, and it could be in trouble for India come the semi final or the final, which I'm assuming they will reach, even though they've lost their first game. So, um, India better watch out. This World Cup is not easy. ये वर्ल्ड कप है, वर्ल्ड कप का प्रेशर अलग होता है, घर पे खास करके प्रेशर अलग होता है, और इस स्टेडियम में हमें तो पता नहीं प्रेशर के अंडर क्या हो जाता है. बट hats off to South Africa, hats off to their ability, hats off to how they played their cricket, losing De Kock, Rickleton, and who was the third opener? They lost De Kock, Markram, and Rickleton early, but they kept attacking. They kept attacking. T20, South Africa is a dangerous, dangerous team. And I had predicted earlier also that South Africa is my pick to beat India in this T20 World Cup. And I'm still not bothered because I feel India will comfortably beat West Indies and India will comfortably beat Zimbabwe to reach the semi final. But um, this South African team is different. And did you realize how sensibly Tristan Stubbs played? आराम से वो आए, उन्होंने ना वरुण को अटैक किया ना बुमराह को अटैक किया, क्योंकि जब उनकी रेंज में नहीं था, he waited for the right bowler and he hit two sixes of Hardik Pandya to finish the 20th over. That's what you call intelligent batting. I didn't understand why Tilak had to go down the track to Marco Jansen. Yes, we might be over analyzing his dismissal. Early in the innings, got a nick, was slightly unlucky, but it was a low percentage shot, a high risk shot in a situation when you had already lost, Ishan Kishan. He should have not gone for that shot, in my opinion. But I mean, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So I don't know how India will recover from this loss, because this is a shellacking. This is an absolute धो दिया जिसे कहते हैं ना. तो आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा कि ये वर्ल्ड कप है. मैं बार बार ये लाइन इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि वर्ल्ड कप आसान नहीं होता. वर्ल्ड कप जीतना आसान नहीं होता है, वर्ल्ड कप खेलना आसान नहीं होता. घर पे तो सबको लगता है होम एडवांटेज है, लेकिन होम प्रेशर भी होता है. तो अब इंडिया के अगले दो मैचेस जिम्बाब्वे और वेस्ट इंडीज के साथ हैं, विच आर नॉट इजी बाय एनी स्ट्रेच ऑफ द इमेजिनेशन, लेकिन रिलेटिवली इजियर देन साउथ अफ्रीका एंड वेस्ट इंडीज. आपने आज देखा कि इंग्लैंड भी श्रीलंका से जीत गई, जबकि आपको लग रहा था कि श्रीलंका आसानी से मैच जीत जाएगी. नहीं, वर्ल्ड कप में कुछ भी हो सकता है. आप आईपीएल से कंपेयर इसलिए नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि आईपीएल में आप 14 मैच खेलते हैं, आपको 7 बाकी स्टेडियम पता होते हैं और 7 आप एक ही स्टेडियम में खेलते हैं. तो ये सब 15 मैच 14 मैच की लीग में आप अटैकिंग क्रिकेट खेल सकते हो, बिकॉज इफ समवन कम्स ऑफ, समवन कम्स ऑफ, यू रीच द फाइनल और द प्लेऑफ्स. वर्ल्ड कप में एक मैच आपको भारी पड़ सकता है, एक गलती आपको भारी पड़ सकती है, और गलती से, मतलब मुझे नहीं लगता ऐसा होगा, गलती से अगर वेस्ट इंडीज wake up and choose violence, then I can't even imagine what's going to happen. Although I feel West Indies की bowling attack is not good enough to beat India, and Indian batting will come good against Zimbabwe and West Indies, but where you don't know. What did you think was the turning point of the match? In my opinion, David Miller's counter attack and South Africa bowling intelligently in the power play were the two factors that put India on the back foot. And again, I'm still not convinced with Tilak batting at three. I would want to see Sanju Samson, simply because you need a right-handed batter in the top three, especially if the top three is attacking, and you can't then counter the threat that comes in their various forms. And sadly, the saddest part about all of this is Abhishek Sharma is out of form, and it's a very sad thing, because in a World Cup, especially in a T20 World Cup, there is no time. There is literally no time. You're always under pressure. And when a batsman like Abhishek Sharma goes out of form, who operates at a strike rate of 200, बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है रिकवर करना, बिकॉज आपका वो कॉन्फिडेंस चला जाता है. फिर आप either you just keep swinging and then you hope one day things come off. But hard luck to Abhishek. I feel bad for him in a lot of ways, but I have to say, watching Jasprit Bumrah bowl was a delight. Was an absolute delight, man. That man is amazing. What he does with the ball every week, day in, day out, is just spectacular. I mean, I don't have words to describe Jasprit Bumrah. He is a genius. He's a bona fide genius. and I've never seen anyone like him in T20s. You saw what Varun faced pressure. There was not enough turn, but Bumrah was bowling on another plane. Bumrah was bowling uh, just like he was bowling like a man possessed. And you know what is the worst part or the best part? I would say he does that every week, so you don't realize his genius. But overall, bad day for India at the office, and it is a sad story today. And a lot of fans thought we're going to trample South Africa. अरे इनको तो हमने हराया हुआ है. Make no mistake, the 2024 का वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल भी हम बहुत मुश्किल से जीते थे. It was all but done, but Jasprit Bumrah decided to just do something crazy. But coming back to 2026 World Cup, nothing is lost. Sometimes you need a hiccup mid-tournament. Sometimes you have to be losing games to win games. If this is the hiccup that the Indian team needs to come back to senses and be tactically better. And by the way, where was Axar Patel today? Where was Axar Patel? अक्षर पटेल को क्यों नहीं खिलाते? आपको हमेशा अक्षर पटेल से क्या दिक्कत होती है? बॉलिंग वो करके देता है, फील्डिंग वो करता है, बैटिंग वो करता है. अक्षर पटेल अक्षर पटेल को 3 पे खिला लो तिलक की जगह एंड यू ब्रिंग इन अनदर बॉलर, प्ले कुलदीप. I don't know. I mean, Axar Patel should not be out of this 11. ये matchup. I agree. I believe in matchups and I stick by them. But Axar Patel is a matchup agnostic bowler in my opinion, and I don't understand why the Indian team would not play someone like Axar Patel, especially when you have Brevis and Stubbs who need to be stopped. And it was bizarre to not see Axar Patel play in this match. And for what? You were trying to stop him facing who? Just Miller? Because Rickleton, um, Quinton de Kock, and Markram, all three potentially are not world-class players of spin bowling. So I'm really not a big fan. But again, it could be hindsight analysis, and nothing against Washington Sundar. So a lot of thinking, and you know what this does? It plays with your mentality, because now you're not suddenly the free-flowing, brave team that is trying to attack the opposition. Now you're going to be a little conservative. You'll watch in the next match how India will be a little watchful. But let's see what happens. And if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, because I want to, tell stories about sport, and we'll keep connecting throughout the World Cup.